Hey guys, welcome back, Bushcraft family, with another video. And this video might not suit everybody. I'm sure there won't be a lot of people that won't click on it because who cares about what the people in the past used to eat and everything. But I find it interesting that nowadays, most meals come in a bag or a can or already pre-made that you get from the grocery store. Not to mention you can just do on your phone and have a meal delivered to your door. You don't even have to look at the person. They just leave it there and that's it. Most of the places you go to have a meal made for you, it's already pre-made and stuff. The patties, the meats and stuff like that. Very seldom nowadays do you have stuff that's made from scratch. They get the vegetables and whatnot and make a dish from those. So I like to kind of go into past and kind of relive what they used to eat back then. Some of these I've had many times. Growing up with my grandpa and whatnot. Even my dad would cook some of these things. So, yeah. Like nowadays, some of the top things that people eat for dinner is pizza, french fries, ice cream, mac and cheese. All pre-made stuff. All full of preservatives and stuff that we don't even know how to pronounce. So here are some what nowadays would call weird food that our forefathers ate. And I'm talking like, from 1700s on up to probably early 1900 area. So hopefully some of this stuff doesn't, gross people out too much, because this is what they ate. This is what they had. And there's so much, the side dishes and stuff that you would have are totally different from what you'd have nowadays. One of the most common one was squirrel and rabbit. People think, oh, that's gross. Little rabbits and the little tree rats and things like that. But this stuff is good, And I'm going to hunt down some recipes, the old recipes, because I still have some in some of my old books. And I'm going to put them on my community tab or community post, whatever they want to call it now. In case somebody wants to check them out, for whatever reason. Now, here are some dishes you would try. The most famous is squirrel and rabbit stew. Now, I would do, I would fry some bacon, fat back, whatever you would have in that. Get a good fat in there. Take the bacon out, and then put your rabbit or squirrel, whatever the case may be, and then you brown it on both sides and get it going good, and then you go ahead and take that out. That way you get a little bit of that flavor in with that fat. And then you would put your onions, garlic, and stuff in there, sweat those down, and then you put your flour and you make a roux. And then if you had milk, you could use milk, but most of the time it would be water or broth. And then you get a good bit of gravy in there, and then you put your rabbit or your squirrel back in there, add your potatoes and carrots and whatnot, and there you would have it. And another one would be squirrel pot pie. And you could do this with rabbit too. Um, and real easy to make and everything. And it's not like, turning the air fryer on and putting your chicken wings in there and getting, you know, waiting 20 minutes to get your chicken wings and then you're done. These are recipes. When I say a recipe, I'm gonna find some of the original recipes. Now, it'll probably be so you know what your um, maybe cups or stuff might be, but usually it'll be like 3 large carrots or 2 large potatoes or half a diced onion, something like that. It's a lot of times they didn't use grams or cups or anything like that. So I'll sometimes I'll add a cup if I think it's a cup to make it easier. But if I find somewhat of the recipes, but squirrel pot pie recipe w- will be pretty good. I mean, that stuff is back in the day, and a lot of times, a lot of the stuff was made over a fire. They would make little ovens out of rocks and stuff, and bake the stuff right then and there. Um, Cook it up. Oh, yeah. I would love to have some good, good squirrel pot pie right now. My grandpa used to make that, and that and rabbit stew. Ooh, there's nothing better. Nothing better. Um, and these days, most people think, oh, that's a rodent. It's a rat or something. Just like down south, eels. A lot of our forefathers on the coast um, didn't know what to eat and found out that eel is a good tasting treat or a meal. Sometimes you could catch a whole mess of fish, and by the time you clean them and everything, you don't have much left. But you get a big size eel that could feed a family for a good while. Um, and you can make a stir fry out of that, and there's some French recipes for that, but I don't know if I'd be able to come up with too many of those. So probably won't do an eel recipe. So, but yeah, that was now would anybody consider eating eel today? If you go to the grocery store and you've seen a big section of eel sitting there and um, $3.99 a pound, and it's a lot cheaper than chicken or beef. Would you be tempted to give it a try? I don't know how many people would. Just like this next um, delicacy, a lot of people probably wouldn't jump at giving this a go, but calf and hog head. Yeah, I remember many times uh, the same pot that my grandpa used to use to can with. He would um, boil a hog head right then and there, and I've never seen the calf head yet though. But I'm sure it'd be pretty much the same thing. But um, you can hog head cheese, uh, pig brains with eggs, pig brain soup, or I mean sandwiches, hog head soup. There's and a lot of people are that's gross, But you would be surprised how much stuff was was used on an animal from head to toe or tail. They would eat the tail too. But yeah, and we turn our nose up to something like that, but you don't eat for a week and you smell that cooking, I guarantee you're going to want a bowl or a sandwich or whatever from that. Not to mention, even sometimes today you get pig's feet. Down south, it's probably more common. Pig's feet soup, put a couple pig's feet in with your beans. Good go. It flavors the beans and you get an extra chunk of meat. A lot of people, another thing would be pigeons or squaw. Yeah, nowadays they're in the cities and people call them the flying rats and the rats of the sky and all that stuff. Nowadays in a city or something, I probably wouldn't eat one of them because they eat trash and fast food stuff that gets thrown on the side of the road. But out in the country and stuff, nothing wrong with it. Nowadays, yeah, like in the cities, those things are probably full of parasites and all kinds of stuff now. But in the country setting, if you can find pigeons and stuff, yeah, I mean, that's where the pigeon pie came from. There's roast squaw, squaw stew, all that's really good. You put 3 or 4 of those in a pot, make a good gravy out of it, and add onions, carrots, and potatoes. Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. And another one, which now today people would, go half cuckoo over, but beaver meat and beaver tail. Now I've had beaver tail. I've had beaver tail jerky, and beaver tail is really good if it's cooked right. A lot of the people learn how to cook beaver from the, I'm just going to call them Indians. To me, most of them like to be called that anyway. Everybody has to be politically correct on every term they call people nowadays. Moving on. But there are a lot of, and I'm pretty sure, like up in Canada, there's still people that eat beaver because of all the hides and everything that they go and trapping in and whatnot. And the regular meat, it just tastes like beef to me. Now the tail, it's more of like a fatty bacon, I would say, pork. So it's really good. You could grill it, as long as you take that skin off of it, it's good stuff. And it's just like used to be. You would see this next one in stores. You hardly see it anymore. But believe it or not, beef tongue. And remember what I said, that they used everything of the animal. Hardly anything went to waste because who knows when they would get an opportunity to have another cow. So a lot of it was used, when today it's just ground up into dog food or your hamburger, or your hot dogs and bologna and stuff like that. But beef tongue, I've had, grilled over the fire. You slice it up real thin and you can pickle it. There's tons of things you can do with beef tongue. One thing I seen a recipe for, I would love to try one of these days if you can find the beef tongue, would be beef tongue tacos. And you can, I mean, the beef tongue is huge, so you could roast the whole thing, as long as you skin that off and whatnot. But you can make jerky out of it. It makes a real good jerky. All kinds of stuff. And that's the thing, is you have the places around that would sell it. I don't know. I'm sure I haven't seen it at Walmart for a long time. But like I said, this recipe I seen, I'm gonna go ahead and post it in the comment, or not the comments, but the community post. Beef tongue tacos. So if you're ever in the mood for it, you can give it a go. The next one, tripe. It's basically the stomach lining of a cow. It might seem strange and all, but our forefathers had that at the table all the time. That's just like over in Ireland and stuff, that they'd fill a lamb's and a goat's stomach up and cook it and stuff like that. Yeah. Anyways, some of the dishes that you would have for tripe would be a tripe sandwich, and I forget what they call it. They got a fancy name for it and everything, but I can't remember. Tripe stew, breaded and fried tripe. I've had that. And you can always do the taco thing too with the tripe. Pepper pot pie, soup, and it's made with tripe. All kinds of goodies. And still today, in real expensive restaurants and everything, this next one, bone marrow. You would never think people would be eating the inside of a bone, but yeah. And remember what I said? They used every part. That's including the bones. And they'd make bone broth and stuff, but bone marrow dishes to try is vegetable soup with bone marrow broth, roast bone marrow on toast. If you roast that up and you smear it on a toast, ooh, good stuff. And bone marrow salad. Yeah. Yeah, the roast bone marrow on toast is probably the most that I had on it. And especially if you get it to where you can smoke it. Not smoke it in a pipe or anything, but smoke it on a smoker and whatnot. Oh man, that is so good. And the next one. Now, I haven't heard this one before, and this was pretty far back. Now, I'm going to give you my version of it. And this, I've had it many times. It's called mush, cornmeal mush. It's basically, and you could say pimento or I don't know, something like that. It's an Italian thing, but Um, Basically, you boil some water and you cook up the cornmeal until it gets like a paste, and you pour it in a dish and you set it in the refrigerator. Well, back in the day, even when I stayed with my grandpa, we didn't have electricity, so there was no refrigerator. So on cold nights and whatever, it was left out and it would harden up a bit. Not really like a brick or anything, but it would, be solid. And we slice it up, and he would fry it in with the bacon. Oh man! As soon as it's done getting brown on both sides, you take it out and put some syrup on there. And my grandpa, he would make his own syrup, and that was even better. I mean, nothing better than having bacon and mush in the morning. Oh, good stuff. Now that this thing is kind of like that, but without a lot of that, and it's called ash cakes. Yes. Now, from what I've read on this, what they would do, they would make this batter and they would put it right there on the ash of a fire, and that's where they would cook it. Now, some of the sides would get hardened and stuff, but the majority of it wouldn't. But they would kind of scoop it out of there and cook the other side. And this was, you go ahead and put syrup and stuff on there, and or if you didn't have syrup, maybe butter or bacon grease or something, and you'd have a meal. And for those that you didn't carry a cast iron skillet around with you or something, that's all you had. You'd cook over the coals and stuff a lot of times, even your meat and stuff. Another one, this is our last one, would be all-day porridge or all-day stew is what they call it. And if you ever see like Little House on the Prairie, they'd have that big old kettle underneath the fire and stuff. They'd start it in the real early in the morning or the night before. Start with a good stock of meat and stuff, and then add the vegetables and all that stuff, and let it simmer. That stuff would cook all day long. You'd come in and get it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If there was any left over, you'd have some for the next day. And that's what they called the all-day porridge, or others would call it all-day stew. And it could be any kind of meat, from rabbits to squirrels, or both. It could be pork, whatever meat that you could come across to get would be put in that pot, just like vegetables and whatnot. Herbs that they found along the way would go into that, and yeah, that's what it ended up to be. Now, before I end this, I want to know, has anybody had any of this, and also has anybody heard of any of these dishes? And again, remember to look on the community post, because I'm going to put some recipes up there. If you want to check them out or not, it's okay. I understand. Some may not be willing to give something like that a try, but you never know. To me, there's nothing better than squirrel and a gravy with some potatoes and carrots. Oh, good stuff. And anyways, I'm going to leave you at that. Till next time, God bless.